Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with today's guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, you've heard me say before, these are all great companies. They're time savers, they're money makers, they're organizations that you should be a part of. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit these sponsors because you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say many times, probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an athletic director was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile and their customer service just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, I'm telling you, all of our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes love the videos, our parents love the streaming, but there's a lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million fans and users, and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We also want to say thanks to Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes things to a new level. Beacon is a content creation service, and they're going to take your stories, your history, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then post on your social media platform, maybe on a Vital Signs Wall of Fame board. You really have to see it to believe it. I want you to reach out to John Townsend, and you can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon and Wall of Fame, it's a winning team that you should be on. Let's say thanks to Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results, facility management. Did I mention athletic eligibility and clearance? Home Campus does all of these things and more, does it better, does it faster than the other platforms. Go to homecampus.com, find out all the great things they can do for you, and don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD podcast. Let's also say thank you to Gipper. Gipper is the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for any athletic department to look their best without spending extra time or adding additional staff. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. How easy? Well, it's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com. Look at all the ways they can help you promote your students, your teams, your program. That's Gipper.com. We want to say thank you to Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader in education-based athletics with their solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, of course. They're still the number one digital ticketing provider, but how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising? The list just goes on and on. Go to Hometown and find out how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, or a coach, Hometown is it needs to be a member of your athletic department team. That's hometown.com. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to say thanks to our friends at Booster Hub, the number one booster club software program. Your boosters work hard for you, and you want to give them a platform that they deserve. Sponsorship payments, meal fees, volunteer signups, volunteer changes. Nothing falls through the cracks. Booster Hub also handles communication, scheduling, spiritware, sales. It gives your boosters more time to support you as fans. And isn't that what you want? Once again, give your boosters the platform they deserve. Give them the platform they need. Go to boosterhub.com. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, even your parents, you're really missing out. The data that you'll collect with the athletic survey is just incredible, and it's incredibly valuable when you're meeting with a parent, when you're meeting with your principal. How about when you're meeting with your school board? Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. And don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to Tennessee today, and our guest is Jacob Willcutt. Jake is a certified athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics at Ocoee Middle School. That's part of the Bradley County School District in Cleveland. Has a great background in athletics. We're excited to have him on the show today. Jake Willcutt, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's really cool. As I've moved into this realm of seeking more experience and stuff. It was great to be invited to this and excited to talk about our school, and brag about them a little bit.
Oh, no, absolutely. And again, we've had a number of middle school ADs on before. I got my start at the middle school level, so it certainly holds a special place for me. So we're excited to have you on. Jake, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Maybe take us up through your college days. We'll talk about your career in the next segment. But what's the Jake Willcutt origin story?
Sure, yeah. Not super interesting. I was My mom was how I ended up here. My mom was a pretty good basketball player and ended up playing at UAH, where she met my dad, who worked at a mechanic shop. And the way the story goes, they fell in love while she was still in school. They got married, had me in Huntsville, and then moved up to the family farm, shortly after that. And I've lived in Cleveland since then. The school I work at, I went to. My mom was the bookkeeper here for 20 years, and then she retired she was a CFO of our county till last year. She just retired. So I actually, crazy story. I'm in her old office, which maybe they didn't want to buy another little, name thing, just saving some money there. But it pretty cool circle. So I went here when it was Bradley Junior, and then I went to Bradley High School. Was a very, average athlete. Played basketball, baseball, golf, tennis. Just loved being a part of the school culture that involved athletics, but not enough to be paid to do it in college. And went to a local school, Lee University, and went there. Wanted to be a teacher and a coach, and got to do that in 4 years, and then have um, graduated from there, from Lee University, with a history degree in education, and got to teach for a little over a decade before I stepped into this role. So I'm very proud to be from Cleveland, and we actually share our campus with the university. It's pretty wild that, all the connections, but very happy to be from Cleveland. Happy to work at the school I went to. It's a pretty cool full circle moment.
Okay. Wow. No, thanks for sharing. I just love to hear the stories.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you about your mom. Now, obviously, the generations and age
Yeah.
difference. She was probably post Title IX beginnings, right?
Right.
Does she share any of her days as being a basketballer?
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, when she started high school is when they moved from the 3-on-3
Oh,
to
wow.
full court 5-on-5. I guess that was in the late 70s. And so she, Played at Bradley for a very, Jim Smitty, who the gym's named after. It's a great program there. I think they've won three of the last four state titles. So it's a good school with a great history. And so she played there, and then I don't know the full story for how she ended up at UAH, but loved it down there, and was I think held some records there till recently. So she wouldn't share any of that. She probably didn't even know any of that because she's a really humble person. But yeah, it helps me when I name drop her. They don't believe that I'm her son because I wasn't good at basketball, but still get to name drop that every once in a while.
All right. Well, that's enough about your mom. Great story.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is your interview.
Yeah.
Um, growing up, was Cleveland at the time? Was it small town USA? Was it
Sure.
suburban? What are some of your memories?
Yeah.
Backyard football, driveway basketball. How
Yeah.
did that play out for you?
Yeah, it's great. I grew up on a tobacco farm. I mean, most of my summers I would play baseball or practice in the morning or in the afternoon. And we lived in about 100-acre farm, and I was helping my granddad feed cows or cut corn and cut tobacco in July, storing it in the summer. But I just always remember loving sports, being really busy. Baseball's probably that was my favorite thing. That's what I coached and played a lot and was successful at. But I just remember my granddad when in the summer I'd help him feed cows or whatever, and we would just drive around and watch random baseball games. We go watch a high school baseball. I'd be 10 years old. We go watch a baseball game, whoever was playing. He loved the game and don't know all of his baseball history, but I got his old glove from the 20s in my office, and that was made in the 20s, and just really loved the chess game that baseball was. I think that's really where I developed my love for it was when I was 10 years old watching those random baseball games, not even knowing who was playing, but getting to watch those. Um, yeah, we played a lot of baseball in our cornfields and shot basketball on some old goals, and that's what we had to grow up doing. We were in the middle of nowhere, so we're not you know can't go play football with the cattle in the field. We weren't able to do that, but the things we could go do was throw a baseball Sundays after church, which was some good memories.
Oh wow, great! I love it. All right, moving into high school, you mentioned,
Yeah,
you played all the sports, which athletic
right,
directors nowadays, we love that multi-sport
right.
experience. Any baseball stories stick out for you from high school? Big
You
hit,
know,
big catch, big game?
Sure. No, I played baseball through my junior year, hurt my arm, ended up not able to finish that. But still wanted to be involved in some type of sport. That's learned to play golf from the guy named Chief Robertson, who's a local legend. He's got a couple course records around here still, I think. But he just, hey, you're a baseball player. Why don't you come play golf? Played golf my senior year, and then they didn't. So I don't really have a baseball story. I do have a tennis story. I played tennis my senior year, and they didn't have enough kids to make the team. And I just, baseball, you get to hit a ball as hard as you can. In this sport, you get a point if you hit the kid, on the other side of the net. Baseball is not that way. So let's try it. So anyway, so we didn't have enough people to make a team. Ended up they recruited a couple of us athletes, and we went out there, and my most vivid memory was we were playing in the region championships against another local high school, and it was myself and this guy. His name was Justin Hare. He's a local doctor now. He was a real good basketball player, and we ended up defeating Cleveland in this match. Neither of us were really tennis players, but we win this match. And he was a fantastic athlete. I mean, he was played at Belmont. But the story in the paper the next day was tennis wins by a hair, like Hare, because that's how you spelled his last name. And I just it was just big write up about two non-athletes winning the region championship. So good memory. I think I've got that one somewhere in a drawer because it is a pretty funny story.
Oh no, absolutely. You got to bring that out
Yeah,
at
yeah,
those reunions.
definitely.
Um, let's go and take our first break. Once again, our
Okay.
guest today is Jake Willcutt. He's a certified athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics at Ocoee Middle School. And that's in Cleveland, Tennessee. We're going to hear all about that and more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You heard me say before, one of the best purchases I ever made as an athletic director was our Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Table. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile and their customer service just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to thank our good friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million fans and users, and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast.
Yeah, Jay, I saw you guys mention Sideline Interactive and Huddle. No, I don't use Huddle a lot. Our football coaches love it. They'd probably quit if I canceled it. So they use it all the time. But Sideline Interactive, we bought a score table from them a couple years ago. I had a local donor said, "Hey, I'll buy the score table for you if we're on that, if we're one of the feature advertisers on there." So we actually flipped our whole gym to get that table in there, and our coaches use that every year to sell ads on. I mean, thousands of dollars. It's saved our coaches, a headache on fundraising, and it's helped our kids and parents their pocketbooks when they're paying team fees. It's been a huge help for us. We'll buy another one, probably make it bigger here in a couple years.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for saying that. And I had the exact same experience. We had a donor step up. It was actually our local Chick-fil-A franchise.
Okay.
And we just put a little, it was kind of like a big medallion on one
Yeah.
end of it. But selling the ads, I mean, it paid for itself if we had to buy it
Right.
in about a month of selling ads. And
Oh
in
yeah.
addition to the ads, I don't know if you found this, but all the features that are loaded into
Yes.
the laptop and the display. There's so many. There's
Yeah.
thousands that we never got a chance to use because there was just
Right.
so many great ones we were
Right.
already using. Was that your
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, we on our big games we feature some of those things, obviously we're I mean we run a lot like a high school, so when we get someone trained to do things we want to showcase our kids, our student athletes when we can, but we've done it for some big events. Usually each time we're just using it to showcase those people that have invested in our athletic programs, help us keep it running.
Hmm. Yeah, and we've even had tournaments where maybe you have a one-time only sponsor, but it's so
Right.
easy to create a graphic
Oh
for
yeah.
them. And the customer service, I always tell this story. It was early on, maybe the third or fourth time we'd used it, and it's like 10 minutes before game time, and it's not working. What's wrong? And I
Yeah.
call the number expecting to get a recording, and a human answers. And of course, it was something I had failed to, plug in or connect.
Yeah.
What's your experience been with their customer service?
Yeah, to be honest, it's been so I've never had to call them about anything. So so far so good. Maybe you've jinxed me now. I'm sure I'll have to call them next week, but I'll share how great a job they did, I'm sure.
All right. Well, thanks again for sharing that Sideline Interactive and
Yeah.
Huddle. Again, I
Yeah.
think your football coaches probably would quit if you didn't,
Yeah, they would.
if you took
Yeah.
away Huddle. Um, for our listeners, our guest is Jake Willcutt. He's the director of athletics at Ocoee Middle School. You mentioned that you kind of got your start right out of the chute. Talk about the end of college and entering the real world. You
Sure.
knew you wanted to be a teacher and a coach. did you make that phone call to Ocoee, which I guess was
Sure.
Bradley at the time, or how did that all play
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously, I just believe in sovereignty of higher powers that just direct our steps and just try and follow on those as I can. But yeah, I ended up at a local high school, Walker Valley, who's the other large high school, and a former coach of mine was the head baseball coach then, and they just needed an extra body out there, and I volunteered to help and learned a lot from Joe Shamblin. Learned a lot from him. He's retired now as well. But that was really my start. I got to start there in baseball, helping with the freshman team, and then work my way up to helping with the varsity. One of my very good friends was coaching at a local private school. He was the head baseball coach, and he lost his pitching coach. Had gotten another job, and we coached some travel ball together. And he called me and said, "Hey, we got a history opening. Do you want to come? Be my pitching coach here at Silverdale?" And so I took that job, and we went down there and got to coach for 7 years together with some really good memories, and we had some really fortunate to have some really good teams, some great athletes, and we went there, and then got a call from the former principal here about this job, and was fortunate to move here and take over the program. So I had some experience being head coach, being assistant coaches, which I think really helps me speak to our coaches in general about how you run a program top to bottom. So I'm very, very blessed to have that experience. Never won any. We got to the state finals one year, a bunch of sub-state games at Silverdale. Um, but we were one of the teams playing on the last day, which that's the goal. Sometimes you win those and you don't, but some really good memories there. Coach Adcock, he actually um, retired. We got him to come back. Now he teaches math for us here at the school. I mean, I'm just recruiting all these people I can to come back and work here.
Now, you spent those years, as a teacher, as a coach, kind of
Yeah.
learning the trade. There's an expression: you don't know what you don't know. In those early years, what was something that you found out that you didn't know?
Yeah, I think, man, that's tough. I'd say I think the weight of, realizing that this to be successful as a sport, juggling, you know, uh, how much of the year, months, days it takes to invest to have a successful program. Now, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about this more. I think everyone should be able within minimal time to run a program that they're proud of, that helps their student athletes succeed. But if you want to take that next step, just the amount of hours that you've got to put into to be competitive. And we hope every coach gets to that point. We realized the time that it took and the additional hours. In baseball, it was like our 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 3-hole hitter's been in a slump. Like he wants another 100 balls thrown to him after practice. And I mean that's just you just say yes and you do that. Or they want to hit before school. Or they want a couple more grounders after the game because they booted some. And I didn't realize it's just not a clock in, clock out job. I think realizing that and now I just see how much more of a sacrifice it is to be a coach today, looking back. And it's a underpaid job, but it's awesome watching people get into it today, knowing they're going to be underpaid and still hopping right in there and doing it.
Oh no, absolutely, and there's tremendous rewards, to coaching and teaching. That
Right.
I think people, hopefully they do. They're looking at, all right, well, this is going to be my work environment.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's long hours, but I get to work with kids, and so again, there's a trade off at any job. I joke, I was a teacher, a coach, and AD for 41 years, and I joke I
Wow.
didn't have to work a day in my life because
Right.
I enjoyed doing what I was doing.
Right.
Um, we're going to talk about your athletic director role at Ocoee in the next
Okay.
segment, but was that something you were looking for, climbing the ladder, a broader role, or how
Right.
did that play out?
Yeah, it was yeah, I was not expecting that. I had a leadership degree, a master's in leadership, but was not expecting this. And I'm sure we'll talk about more in Bradley County. We're super blessed, top down. Our director of schools, our county AD, they put a premium on athletic leadership in our four secondary schools. So I don't teach a class. I handle truancy during the day. And then whatever other administrative duty, my principal, Dr. Lindbergh, whatever else he needs. So this, to me that, I'm on the administrative team. I evaluate teachers. There's other parts of my school day that I do that look more like a principal role. But then I get to stay after school and run our athletic events after hours. So it's the same way at our other secondary, middle school and the high schools as well. We are 12-month employees. It's a year-round job. And so they invest that time and money in us to want to do that. So, I know it's not that way at other schools. So I really know how blessed I am. And so when it was offered in that manner that, hey, this is a step out of the classroom, you get to be the coaches of the coaches. I was super honored to be approached and that even be an option in my professional career. And love it. This is year 8 here, and it's been really fun.
And that's such an important point that needs to be shared. Not all athletic director positions are designed that way, and it's a question you need to ask in that interview.
Right,
Am I going to be teaching? Am I going to be coaching? What's the support in the district to for professional development and that sort of thing.
right,
And I love how you mentioned you have your AP duties
right.
during the day, and then your words you said I get to stay after and
Yeah,
stay and supervise the sports program. Yeah, we do get to do that stuff.
that's
Very
right.
cool. Let's go and take another break. Once again, our guest today is Jake Willcutt. He's a certified athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics and some assistant principal stuff at Ocoee Middle School in Cleveland, Tennessee. We're coming back with more, so please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thank you to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a whole new level. Beacon is a content creation service, and what they do is they're going to take your stories, your students, your coaches, your history, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then post on your social media platform, maybe on a Wall of Fame video board. You really have to see it to believe it. I want you to email John Townsend, and that's John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Wall of Fame. It's a winning team that you should be a part of. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Did I mention athletic eligibility and clearance? Home Campus does all of these things and more, and it does it better and faster than the other platforms. Go to homecampus.com for more information. That's homecampus.com. And we want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper is the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for any athletic department to look like a Division I or even a pro program. Gipper is used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college athletic departments, and it makes marketing easy for any athletic department. How easy? Well, it's so easy, even I can do it. They have thousands of templates that you can custom brand in your colors, your logos, your content. Go to Gipper.com for more information. That's Gipper.com. And as always, tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Jake, you took our listeners up through your journey as an athletic leader. Now you're the director of athletics at Ocoee Middle School. Share a little bit about the program, the teams, your facilities, some things that you're particularly proud of.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I love being able to brag about our school. It's something we love to do. We spend time social media in front of anytime we can get in front of people and talk about how great of a school and the constituents that we serve. We like to talk about it. Um, yeah, we are a large middle school. We have I pulled up our enrollment today. We have 1,140 students in our middle school. If I laid out everything. We look more like a high school. We play in a high school level gym. We can hold 1,000 people. Um, we look more like a high school and at our athletic events and who we're competing against. So, um, but like I said, 1,140 kids. That's kind of the number we hang around. Serve all three, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, and we are in. We actually are in the middle of the city, Cleveland City, but we are one of the two county middle schools here in Cleveland. It's a fantastic school. We are super blessed by the parents that not only our zone kids that come to us by bus, but also the parents that choose to send their kids to our school. It all starts with we got great supportive parents, and then the kids that come in here want to learn and be a part of the school culture.
Now, since you stepped into the role as the athletic director, have there been any big changes? Are there big changes that you're planning in
Sure.
facilities or adding teams?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, it is something really proud of coming in. The former AD is still a principal here. He moved into a principal role, so he's still here, and he does a great job, still being supportive of the program. He still comes a bunch of the games, loves it, and fortunately, the athletic program was a very healthy spot. But something I tell our coaches is biggest room in the world's room for improvement. Like you should never be satisfied with the program if you know there's a way you can tweak it, make it better for your athletes. And so in the last 8 years, we've been able to do a bunch of upgrades to our facilities, maximize the space that we use, as well as provide services for our parents and our student athletes. We have I pulled the numbers just to be sure, but of our 1,100 kids, 550 of them are playing a sport here at the school. We're right at 50% of them are involved in something that is athletics, or we consider athletics here. That's not counting band or choir or anything like that, but we push kids to be involved. We want our campus full after school with kids doing something. Either they're in the musical, or they're in one of the gyms, or on our fields playing or practicing. Um, that's a huge part of what we push at Ocoee. But um, one thing that if I was going to circle not only the 20 sports we serve, all of that, one thing I'm super proud of is and how cutting edge this is. We didn't realize how cutting edge it is, but we have a part-time athletic trainer that's here. She's here 20 hours a week. She's at every home game. She's at most of our away games. She does office hours here for our athletes. So, if we have a kid that needs their ankle tape, they go and see her right before the end of school. She does rehab for our athletes that have had catastrophic injuries. We started that 7 years ago thinking, hey, everybody does this, and we've realized at the middle school level it's pretty rare. So I'd like to give her a shout out and Center for Sports Medicine for helping us come up with that plan. So I mean that's the day in day out I'm the most proud of. We have an athletic trainer here, um, but facility wise, we've got two gyms. We've installed a curtain that we can divide our gyms, new bullpens, the shoot away guns. We try and do some type of large investment every year in at least one of our programs.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. And especially that athletic trainer. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I think that's probably a unicorn feature
yeah,
for the middle school, but absolutely should move into, that area of every middle school has one.
right.
Good for you.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, Boy, I had a thought there and then it disappeared. You're in Cleveland. Well, let's do this first. I was at a couple of different private schools that were K through 12, and so we had
Yeah.
very robust middle school programs.
Right.
Our philosophy at middle school was, hey, we want to win, but it's not why we do sports. Middle
Sure.
school is, we would use the phrase fun and fundamental. We're
Mm.
trying to give them a good experience. We're trying to train them, those that go on to the next level, because not all will. And
Right.
we want to make it a fun experience while they're there. But yeah, we do want to win, and we usually did. We had great kids, we had great coaches, um,
Yeah.
but I would tell parents, hey, we're not hanging a banner in the gym for our 12-0 undefeated team where only the
Right.
starters played and nobody else got to see the action.
Right.
What's your philosophy at Ocoee for middle school athletics?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, going back to, they're students first. I mean, they're student athletes, but they're students first. So our big thing is if we're going to hang our hat on something, I think here at Ocoee, what our administrative, our teachers, we hope they would say is we want them to leave here as the most well-rounded student athlete that they can be when they get out here. Go be ready to be a high schooler,
Absolutely.
move forward toward being a good citizen, and contributor to society. We hope that. We know, and the reason we do our jobs is we know athletics is this, additional injection of steroids that helps these kids get to legal steroid, obviously, a legal PED that helps these kids be better professionals, better teachers, better whatever they want to go do. We know that that is this highway to making them better at that. So obviously, we want to be competitive, and I think, and I hope all the coaches that get to serve in our program would say, we're going to give them the best experience. We're going to push them hard at practice, competing, and by doing that, giving them the best experience and making them better at the next level. The byproduct is just going to be that we win more than we lose. That's
Absolutely.
just
Mhm.
what we think. And what some really proud moments I've had. We've had there was a couple years ago, we just didn't have a very talented baseball team. They worked hard. They were great. They won 4 games. Next year, we were a little better, but that team got hot, made a run all the way. We finished fourth in the state for TSSAA. But I was really proud of my coach, and when we met at the end of the year, I was like, I know it's really frustrating, but you should be really proud that you ran your program the same the year before. You only won 4 games as the year you ran. You were one of the best teams in the state, and so I encourage our coaches run that program the same year in, year out. You know, it's funny because years that I didn't have as much talent on the teams that I coached, you want to work harder with those teams. And you're like, oh, it'll be easier when they're better. But then when you get those really talented groups, you want to work even harder than you did with the other ones. So, I mean, um, to me, you've got to be invested in making those kids better human beings, citizens, responsible human beings. And when you get those special groups, they feel a little more special. But it's the same system, the same practice, no matter who's in your building.
No, and again, you're absolutely right. We use the same phrase. We just said winning is a byproduct of doing a lot of other things the right way.
Yeah.
Uh, Jake, we're going to do this at the end of the podcast, but let's do it now. If one of our
Okay.
listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit or just
Sure.
add you to their network, what's the
Yeah.
best way that they can connect with Jake Willcutt?
Sure. My email, it's on our website, but Ocoee, I think it's at .bradleyschools.org. But the best thing, just shoot me an email. It's J Willcutt. That's JWILLCUTT at bradleyschools.org. I would love to talk to you. Obviously, I love to talk. You might have to hear a hunting story or some crazy other, side story as people become accustomed to. But I would love to be any help, assistance. I'm gonna find out what you're doing well and try and add it here and steal it from you as well. So any help I could be, I would love that.
Well, again, we'll give that out again at the end of the podcast. We're going to take another break. I know that's shocking for our regular listeners, but we are coming back with more with our guest, Jake Willcutt. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader in education based athletics, and their suite of solutions includes things like, well, of course, digital ticketing. They're still the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges, but how about athletic website construction or fee free fundraising and a whole lot more? Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. We'd like to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their master's degree, they also got to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software program, and the platform, it's amazing. Sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, it all goes through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes, nothing falls through the cracks, and your system stays engaged. How about communication, spiritware sales? The list just goes on and on. And all of this gives your boosters more time to support you as fans. And isn't that what you want? Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. Go to boosterhub.com for more information. And as always, make sure you mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast. Jacob, we mentioned several times you're a certified athletic administrator. That doesn't happen by accident. How'd you get involved with your state association, the TIAAA? Shout out to my good friend Mike Elson, your executive director, and the NIAAA. Tell us about your journey with those organizations.
Sure. Yeah. When I took this job, I know we already talked about that. I didn't have an EDS in like a full degree to be a principal. So I realizing that some of the situations I was in, just wanted to be educated and glean that experience. So I enrolled and got my EDS in leadership to be more prepared for that. And so as I was in this job, and finished that up, started getting emails from the local association, hey, come to our state conference. And so went to that and met a ton of people. And as I social network, just realized that there was this tool that I was missing out on with the TIAAA and NIAAA. And through the encouragement of my principal, and I do need to give him a lot of credit, Dr. Lindbergh. He loves athletics, so it makes my job so much easier because he's all about improving our facilities, helping our coaches out, shortening our coaches' practice days through financial investments and upgrades. And so he encouraged me to do this stuff all the time. His wife is a state champion softball coach, and he's all about supporting our athletic program. And I also know I'm very fortunate to have a leadership that does that. So as I started to see these opportunities to be better trained, more educated, I just logged on and started taking the online classes to see that. And I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that first thing. As soon as I got this job, I wish I would have taken those classes because I've gleaned so much and made great connections through the way of either if it's Mike or it's I did a class a couple weeks ago on how to teach some of the LTI courses, meeting people like Patrick Miller who just want other people to be as educated and experience and have the experience that they know is going to help these ADs day to day. And so I took the classes, started those about 2 years ago, and took my test last summer and was able to get that certification. So it's really a proud thing, something I didn't even know about when I took the job, but but it's so good. I tell everybody all the time, if you're not taking those classes, you're really missing out.
Oh wow, what a great commercial for the NIAAA. As you were taking those courses, particularly, well, either the legal ones
Yeah,
or the organizational ones, the 501, 502, 503.
yeah,
Um, Typically, there's one of two responses, sometimes both. It's like, wow, this is great stuff. I got to bring it back to my school, or holy smokes, we're not doing any of this stuff.
right,
I
sure,
got to bring it back to my school.
right, sure.
Did you have those experiences?
Yeah, sure. A little bit of both. I think if anything, what a great assessment, self-assessment of what your program's doing well and not doing well. Um, I'll probably talk about this more later, but being able to, have some type of sounding board within your athletic program that you can go and say, hey, how are we doing these things? At the coaches level, I think is really important. But yeah, there were some things. There was. I know the legal class, like, I'm sure people quit after that class. I mean, because there are some intense moments. I think the conversation we ended up having right after I took that course was over supervision, and I just, reiterated, all of our coaches do a great job with supervision, but you should always be a little scared of how supervised your kids are because for us, they're middle schoolers. Like they are, you know, we get this full range of sixth graders that, some of them still wear pajamas to school, and then we got some that, you know, are could be high school athletes, and navigating all of them in the same locker room, playing the same sport. How are we doing it safely and respectfully? And so that I remember that one vividly coming back and was like, hey guys, we need to make sure, that we are always keeping an eye on our supervision after some of those. I'm super blessed with a coaching staff that um, they're led by a thread. Like literally, I think I have really good relationships with all of them, talk with them often in the building, and can usually just give a recommendation or just through a conversation they get that this is better for our culture and our kids, and do it without really having to be told, which is something we're proud of. Um, but I'm trying to think if there's another one. That I remember coming back and doing. Maybe it was I know we had a couple of our emergency action plans, but they
Sure.
weren't in a way for people to access them. So we came back and made a PDF folder that anybody had access to.
Oh no, and again, that's a great one that a lot of ADs, are just completely unaware of. That geez,
Yeah,
we have to have this. It's not we should have this. We have to
right.
have it. So you've got your CAA. You mentioned that you took 790, so now you can start
Yeah,
teaching those courses. I
right.
wouldn't be doing my job as a longtime member of the NIAAA certification committee if I didn't ask. Have you thought about that CMAA and what your CMA project might look like?
Yeah, maybe. Someone told me that it's easier than getting the CAA. So, that the project, seemed easier than studying for the test. So, definitely I haven't thought about what project I might do. I don't know. That I'd have to think about. Maybe something to do with the athletic trainer piece. I don't know if that could be part of it. I haven't looked at what the tenets are of it, but yeah, I'm sure, if you're asking me that, I'm probably getting an email from Mike about it right now too, telling me to go register for it.
Well, I
But
think Mike would say the same thing. That I
yeah,
think the sense of it being easier just comes from there's always that with all of us. I had it that apprehension of taking that exam. Geez,
right.
I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
And again, you did very well. You passed the exam for the project, and this goes out to listeners too. I guarantee you're already doing something at your school
Mm,
with kids, with coaches, with facilities, with an athletic trainer that would make a great CMA project. And since you brought it up, I would say your athletic trainer would be a great project for you because it's
Okay.
personal, you know it.
Right.
And when I did my project, you only had the one option. You had the long
Mm.
form, you're writing it out. And I enjoyed it. I really did. But I'll tell you, if they had the oral option available, I would have been all over that.
Right.
Basically, you're going to tell your story through a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
20 slides or so, not too many because it's only about a 30-minute presentation. But hey, we got this idea. This is what we did with it. This was how we implemented it with kids, with coaches. We communicated to parents. Got to include the stakeholders, share feedback from them. I still help people, organize it and review if needed. That's all for free if you're interested. But
Okay.
that sounds like a great project for you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. I have not looked into it at all yet,
Okay.
but I definitely will.
All right. Well, again, you probably got a couple courses to take too. Okay.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
well, Jake, this has just been so cool. Number one, connecting with another Jake.
Yeah.
I tell the story. I was 25 years old before I met another person named Jake, and now
Really? Okay. Okay.
you got Jakes falling out of trees now. It's the most
Yeah, they're
popular
all over
name
the
in the
place.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you represent the name very well.
Thank you.
But we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you've certainly
Yeah.
shown you know your way around the world of athletics. We're going to take our final break, hear from Athletic Surveys, who sponsor this particular segment. And when we come back, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their first job, but I'm only going to let you put 3 items in that toolbox.
Okay.
So let's hear from Athletic Surveys. And when we come back, we're going to see what Jake Willcutt places in his new athletic director toolbox. Please stay with us. We want to thank Athletic Surveys for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment on our podcast. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything for student athletes, for coaches, even for parents. And here's the cool thing the information that would come back, usually over the top, positive, and it'll be the same for you. We also got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to hear their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big. But getting back to that positive data, we're talking 98%. It was incredibly valuable, especially when you were visiting with a frustrated parent, to be able to share some of that data. Hey, here's the real story. Sometimes even your principal, or many times your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting today with Jake Willcutt. He's a certified athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics at Ocoee Middle School in Cleveland, Tennessee. Tremendous background. Does a great job with his coaches, with his student athletes, with his community. But right now, I'm going to task him with sending out a brand new AD on their first job, but I'm only going to let him put 3 items in the toolbox. So, Jake, what 3 tools are going into your new athletic director toolbox?
Man, I tell you, when I started this, I would need like a wheelbarrow to try and all the stuff that I feel like is needed to do it well. And if you're not constantly looking at different things, then you're probably worn out. Um, I mean, this is not a tool. I would not put her in a toolbox, but it would be impossible for me to do my job without my incredible wife. Like she is the hours that sometimes I end up having to work. We have a 4-year-old. I could not do it without her. She ran me dinner last night because it's a couple games ran late, and so um, I would not relegate her to the toolbox, but we couldn't do it without I couldn't do it without my wonderful wife who is supporting and often single moms it during the week. We this week we have 12 home events in 4 days. So I mean She's doing a great job with our 4-year-old this week, as she always does. So, first off, don't put your wife in the toolbox. I would start with that for the ADs. Buy them flowers and take them out to eat when you get a night off. Um, as I thought about this, um, some things I guess I wish I'd had early on um, is definitely patience. Like if you're taking over a program, it's gonna, you're gonna want to put your own like touch on it, and it's really tempting to just take over a program and want to overhaul systems or do that. And my first year, we had to let some coaches go in the middle of the year just because of some negligence and some ignorance that we had to deal with professionally. But as far as overhaul, like how you do things, you want to just run in there and do it, but being patient and realizing, getting a pulse on your program and the coaches that you serve under. Um, that's what I would say. Like as you learn it and you're drinking from a fire hydrant, just try and be patient. And that's really, I know that's just a daily, hey, we all need to be more patient. Um, the None of these are physical things. So I guess another just philosophical some advice is just realize, just like most of us are coaches, every kid we coach on a team, super competitive teams, they're all different. You can't I don't communicate with my track coach the same way I do as my boys basketball coach. Like they are two totally different professionals. One's a math teacher, one's a PE teacher. They both run fantastic programs, but they are so different. And so the standards the same, the expectations are the same, but how you communicate and support them, it's totally different. The same way as your shortstop, you can just look at them when they make an error and they know that they made an error and that you're not going to have to say a word to them. They're going to go out and take extra ground balls. But your first baseman, you might need to go have a really firm conversation with them. So it's just, they're all different, the coaches. The last one, and I think that I'm not sure if you can start with this. I mean, I think philosophically every AD needs to have a plan for their program. But it took some time for us to develop, not necessarily like our saying or whatever, but how do we filter our program? Like, what is the filter in which we pass through whether our programs are doing well or not? And the one that I hope our coaches would repeat it. Is it's from a Malcolm Gladwell book. I don't know if you read him, but he studied what causes revolts in all these different people groups, and basically he boiled it down to three things. How do you treat people when they come into your program? Now, this is a business or this is a tribe in the middle of Southeast Asia. Okay. How do you treat them when they come into your program or organization? How do you treat them when they leave? Um, do you generally treat them the same? But do you generally treat people the same day to day? And then do you generally treat people the same? And I challenge my coaches to always evaluate if you're cutting a kid that's been in your program for 2 years, how you do that and how you let them leave with respect, that really matters because they might have a neighbor that if you mistreat them, they're going to tell them not to come and be a part of our program in the future. How you add people to your program. I mean, how do you do tryouts? How do you communicate when tryouts are, the times in which you do them, the opportunities to get better. And then while they're with you, do you generally treat people the same day to day in and day out? And do you generally have the same expectations? If you're hitting those well, your program's gonna do really well. If you get two of those wrong, people are gonna flee and they're gonna tell their friends don't come be around them. So it took us a while to get that filter. I wish, and that may not work for everybody, but it works for us. Our coaches know that. It took us a couple years to say, you know what, that's a good measuring stick for us. And that's not something you can put on a poster, but I think our coaches buy into that and want to build programs that are healthy. So I don't know if that answers all those three. Maybe that's different what other people say, but it works for us here.
No, absolutely. They're great tools. It's amazing the the number of times that having a supportive spouse is not listed as a
Yeah,
valuable tool. And we all know that we would not be anywhere, without those individuals who put up with us as
right.
athletic directors. So no, absolutely great tool. Patience. I think it's one of the hardest things for an athletic director to do. We are wired, we're built for solutions and change, if you will. And sometimes you just need to, take a beat and
Right.
not come in and change everything that first year. And the whole communication and how you treat people, fantastic, great, great advice. Things that definitely need to go in the toolbox. Jake, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. One more time, if one of them would like to reach out and add you to their network and listeners, I think you got a great resource here. What's the best way that they can connect with Jake Willcutt?
Sure. Yeah. Best way to reach me, just shoot me an email. It's J Willcutt. That's JWILLCUTT at bradleyschools.org. Shoot me an email, or if you want to call the school, it's 423-476-0630. Leave me a message. I'll call you back. And if you live close enough, you can come show me one of your favorite restaurants, for lunch. That's great. But otherwise, I'd love to talk with you, shoot the bull with you. That'd be fun.
All right. Well, I'm going to take you up on that restaurant offer.
Yeah, sure. Come on up. Yeah, up 75, straight up here.
There you go. Well, Jake, thanks again. All the best as you continue with spring sports and that busy time of year for ADs.
Yes,
And
sir.
worst case scenario, looking forward to meeting you in Phoenix at the national conference this coming December.
Okay.
Okay. For listeners, we want to thank you for tuning in and just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.